If you're after a burly bolt-in style bed rack for your 97 and newer F150 capable of holding up to 1,000 pounds, then you should definitely check out the Hollowrack's removable bed rack for your rig. Now this thing will feature a durable anodized aluminum for the construction in addition to that category leading weight capacity, all for just south of 500 bucks, making this an excellent value in the bed rack category. Your installation will require some light drilling, so knock this one up to a strong 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and we will have some more detail on that later in the video. So bed racks are definitely a common modification for many truck owners out there because it just makes the bed a little bit more useful and gives you the ability to haul more stuff in the process. Whether using this thing for work and hauling ladders, material, or lumber, or maybe you're just using it for recreational purposes and need to toss some bikes or maybe a canoe or kayak up there, it's going to give you the ability to carry more stuff while keeping the bed free for other cargo. Now, one thing you will encounter in the bed rack category is that you'll find some clamp-in designs and you'll also find some bolt-in designs, and the differences between the two are pretty obvious. Clamp-on designs meaning you don't have to drill into your bed. However, the weight capacities typically aren't as high as some of the bolt-in designs, and honestly the security isn't there as well because it's simply clamped onto your bed, meaning anybody can take that thing at any time. Bolt-in designs, well, yes, you do have to drill into your bed, but as a result, you're getting more capacity and a little bit more security added into the equation as well. So now that you know a little bit more about why you might want to go with a bed rack and the differences between the two designs, let's talk about the Hollowrack's option that we have here in this video. And again, you are looking at the 1,000 pound capacity version here, guys. They do also offer an 800 pound version on the site as well. Might save you a few bucks in the process if you don't need all of that capacity. This thing will give you a 58-inch span up top here in addition to the 8 individual load posts as well. So you can haul your ladder in addition to lumber, kayaks, all of that basically at the same time, thanks to the added capacity and wingspan of this thing. Anodized aluminum for your construction overall here, guys. Very, very sturdy design. So you can make use of this and again, keep your bed open for other cargo, such as your toolboxes or things like that. Now, one thing to keep in mind here, again, south of 500 bucks is what you're looking at for the price, making this a very, very good value. Now, the Leitner design rack is another option on the site. Some might argue it has a little bit more functionality, but you're paying nearly triple the price as the Hollowracks here, and you're not getting quite the same capacity out of that option as well. So at the end of the day, if you're looking to haul a lot of weight for not a lot of dough, the Hollowracks is certainly going to be a great option for you. But let's switch gears and talk about the installation. And yes, this is a bolt-in design, meaning you will be encountering some light drilling with this job. So therefore, I did go 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe a couple of hours from start to finish before everything is rock solid. To give you a better idea of what's expected with this install, here is AT Tech Nick with a walkthrough.
All right, we can start the assembly of the T-bracket. We're gonna take some bolts, put lock washers on them, and slide them up from the bottom on the T-bracket and secure them with these square nuts. We have 2 T-brackets and 4 bolts in each bracket. And once you have one assembled, we're gonna take this and we want it angled out. And we're gonna slide it into the load bar. And you gotta get these square nuts orientated so they'll slide down the rail. It's a little difficult. There's 2. There's the other 2. And we can snug these up. We don't want to tighten them. We just want to make them snug, so we have movement. And we're going to do the same thing for the next T-bracket. And we can take this one, make sure it's angled out, and slide it down the other end of the load bar. And we're going to snug these up again. Not tight, just snug. Next thing we're going to do is secure the secure post to the load bar. In order to do that, we have to slide 2 more bolts on each end of the load bar. So I'm going to stick one down here, put another one down here, and now we can put some of our load securing posts on. And what we're going to do is come down to the end, put a lock washer on and a nut. And we're not tightening any of this hardware up until the very end. And then our last 2 secure posts are going to go in the center of the load bar. All right, we're gonna move on to the leg assembly next. So grab your 2 legs and get an 1 3/4 bolt. And you're gonna pick the side that has the 2 square punches and slide a bolt down the center rail. And we're gonna attach this angle piece here with a lock washer and a nut. Put this aside for now. We're gonna do the same thing for our second leg. Remember, the end with the holes gets the bolt. Slide down, put our angle piece on here, a lock washer and a nut. All right, next we need to attach our leg to our load bar, and we're gonna take 2 carriage bolts and we're gonna slide the leg up into the load bar T-bracket, and we're gonna put a carriage bolt in each hole. We're going to put a lock washer and a nut on each end. All right, we can do the same thing for the other leg now. We're going to slide the leg into the T-bracket that's attached to the load bar. We're going to put 2 carriage bolts in. Some of these like to go in real easy. And then we got 2 lock washers, 2 nuts. Next, we're going to put our bed mounts on the legs. So we have a lip mount that's going to attach to the top of the bed, and then a bed mount that's going to attach to the bottom floor of the bed of the truck. It'll loosen these lock nuts up. And what we're going to do is just slide this and we're going to do the same thing for the bed mount. Just going to come up from the bottom, tighten this guy a little bit so they don't slide down on us. Okay, and we'll do the same thing for the other side. And the bed mount. All right, now that we have our rack assembled, it's time to put it in the truck, get it situated and figure out where we want to mount it. Now keep in mind that everything is loose still, so we can make the adjustments that we need. second rack positioned. All right, at this point, we're ready to mount our racks to the truck bed. You're gonna need a tape measure, a marker, a drill, and some drill bits. And the first thing we wanna do is make sure we're doing everything square. So we're gonna take a measurement off the back of the bed rail for our first hole. And the center of the hole is at 11.5 inches. So I'm gonna go over to this side and make sure that we're at 11.5 inches. And these dimensions are made up. You can mount this wherever you want. Just make sure it's the same on both sides. Once you have it where you want it, we can drill a pilot hole. Use the provided lag screws. And we'll get this thing mounted to the bed. Now we can do the same for the foot legs. And we can take some measurements here off the back of the bed to make sure we're square. So we need to come back a little bit. Draw our pilot hole. And the same thing for the other side. All right, now we're gonna move on to the front rack, and it's gonna be the same process as we just did for the back rack. We wanna take a couple measurements to make sure that everything's square, exactly 8 inches off the front of the bed. Final step here is to go through and tighten up all our hardware and make sure all our racks are straight. Now I'm just going to go through and put our support brace back in place. Made it a little easier to move things around with this disconnected. All right, once you've got everything tightened up, that's gonna wrap up your installation. Be sure to check out more at AmericanTrucks.com.